Hello, and thank you for visiting Graphene Business Law. If you're watching this video on YouTube, go ahead and click on the red subscribe button down below. Graphene regularly posts content here on YouTube that is geared towards small business owners and entrepreneurs and addressing your legal areas of need. We service clients in Toronto and beyond. We also post content that is relevant to law students. We have our own law student series and a few other series we run on the channel as well. But of course, the focus of our clientele is small business owners and entrepreneurs. Today, I wanted to discuss a topic that is both timely and, in my opinion, very pertinent to running a small business. And that is the topic of employees, employment, and as is connected to recent updates, non-compete agreements for employees. Now, I'd like to start by acknowledging that a lot of small businesses are and should be very careful as to who they bring into their business by means of employees. Some businesses can take a while to bring on employees, and for some businesses, it might be best to not hire employees for a long time, depending on the finances of the business, the secret sauce behind the business, the industry of the business, and quite frankly, the focus and the desires of you as a small business owner or entrepreneur yourself. With a lot of small businesses being family run or tightly run by one individual, it can also be particularly important for small business owners and entrepreneurs to exercise caution as to who they bring in. I say all that to say that I know I'm about to discuss the topic of employees at a small business, and I know that this can be a topic that is easier, as the saying goes, discussing it can be easier said than done, and that when it comes to your business, you want to hire the best, you want to hire loyal staff, and you want to hire staff that, at least to some extent, look out for your business the way you do. However, it's important to be aware that as the employer, as the hirer, the person hiring these employees, you as a small business owner, operator, or entrepreneur also have responsibilities to your employees. One of the ways these responsibilities are reflected, of course, is in your employment agreements with these employees and what both parties agree on and what you as employer outline that you'll be responsible for providing the employee. For example, some common themes or sections that come to mind would include time off, sick time, paid, unpaid, leave notice, those sort of clauses that are very common yet very important in employment agreements. Late last year, one particular clause received attention and was actually revamped by relevant governments, and that is the clause of non-compete agreements. Non-compete agreements, I'll start by going over what they are in a little bit of detail. And I'm reading here, so that's why you might see me looking down from time to time. But keeping in mind this video is geared toward an Ontario audience, in the Employment Standards Act, non-compete agreements were defined as an agreement or any part of an agreement between an employer and employee that prohibits the employee from engaging in any business, work, occupation, profession, project, or other activity that is in competition with the employer's business, so with your business, after the employment relationship has ended between two parties, again, you as employer and the employee. These clauses used to be very common in contracts, and speaking in particular to my audience of small business owners and entrepreneurs, you could see why you would think it's important and really worthwhile to put these clauses there. Some small business owners have a lot of secret sauce behind their business, whether it's cosmetics you're in, or food or service, fashion, whatever industry you're in. There can be quite some proprietary information going on behind the scenes of your business. And as a lawyer, a business lawyer, I of course acknowledge that. And I acknowledge, the reason and the purpose that these non-compete agreements may have served once upon a time. However, it's very important for you to be aware that as of late last year, the Honorable Monty McNaughton of Ontario, Minister of Labour, Training and Skills Development, introduced a bill that amended the non-compete section of the Employment Standards Act, whereby non-compete agreements are now viewed as unfair and restricting employees from taking new jobs, and they are in essence to not be enforced anymore. For years now, Canadian courts have hesitated to enforce non-compete agreements. While you might be watching this video again from the perspective of a business owner and the individual doing the hiring, there is another side to the story as well, and there are a lot of policy reasons as to why Canadian courts have been reluctant to enforce these non-compete agreements. But it's important for the purposes of this video to be aware that they are overall viewed as no longer enforceable in Ontario. So to the extent that contracts you have in place now with new employees have non-compete agreements, the non-compete agreements in them will generally be seen to be null and void and not enforceable. Okay. When it comes to drafting employment agreements, best advice of course is to consult a lawyer each time, if not to draft. If you don't have the means or the resources to hire a lawyer every time to draft you a new contract, at least for a consultation or for a glance over at the contract you are offering a potential employee to sign. Every employee will have their own unique needs. Employees you may hire for different positions. There are so many reasons, and mind you, employees you might hire for the same positions but in different settings. And what I mean by that is nowadays, for example, with the same admin position you might have hired 5 years ago, now you might want to think whether your employment agreement will have clauses as to vaccination or health or guidelines regarding COVID-19. So that's what I mean. There's a multitude of reasons as to why you should get your employment agreements looked at, and all those reasons come back to your interest as a business owner. You should seek to be protected, and that little bit of quite frankly, of effort and time up front to have an employment agreement looked at will be worth it in case something ever goes wrong with an employee and there are gaps in your employment agreement that work against you that could easily have been identified and remedied by an appropriate legal professional. Here at Graphene, we can certainly help you not only with drafting employment agreements, we have certainly experience doing that, but also, as I mentioned, if you want that more of a light touch with consulting us as to agreements you have in place or you're seeking to have in place, we're able to assist with that as well. All of these light touches on your business at the end of the day are, as a reminder, are there to help you most as business owners and entrepreneurs. So I'll keep this video short. I'll end it there. I just wanted to take the time to film this video. It's one I've been wanting to film for a long time, because as a business owner, one of the biggest decisions you'll make, and I hear it from entrepreneurs all the time, is when to bring more people on board and who to bring on board. And it's true that a certain piece of IP or whatever secret sauce or a certain great idea may have gotten you to where you are, but most successful business people realize that to get to the next level, they will at some point need more hands on deck. And when it comes to bringing these hands on deck via employment agreements, we want them at the very least to be enforceable, but also to benefit you as well in so far as they can. Okay, so I'll end the video there. You may contact us anytime if you have any questions as to your employment agreements, whether what you already have in place is up to par, whether you are just bringing somebody on board for the first time, or you have 10 people on board and you want to make sure that their agreements have been conducted properly. You can reach out anytime on our website, graphenebusinesslaw.ca, and you can also email us at info@graphenebusinesslaw.ca. Thanks a lot, and best of luck with the operations of your business, and have yourself a great day. Thank you.